Coach, considering last weekend's result down in Tallahassee, what have you seen in practice the last 2 days in terms of a response?
Yeah, I think the best part is we're already past it. I meant what I said Monday in the presser, that I think the guys did a good job of watching Monday morning and putting it to bed, and that's not who we are, right? So the big message this week is let's be us. We're capable of more. We've reset the expectation, and the standard is rising every week, and we're playing a really good football team, right? So we can't just be sitting here worried about last week. So Virginia presents all kinds of different challenges. I thought we did a good job of handling the noise both days on offense. It's been a big emphasis. Defense emphasizing third downs and red zone. I mean, we got to be able to get off the field and get our opportunities. So I thought our players have done a really tremendous job this week of resetting the focus and being resilient after a very humbling loss.
Are you blowing out the speakers when you type in that sound?
Yeah, I mean, as loud as we can get it in here has been the deal. To be honest with you, I got to go bouncing forth, indoor, outdoor, just so I don't get a headache. So,
I've got tinnitus, so yeah, I stayed out there when you had it crazy.
These guys have done a good job, of handling it in a couple different ways. But we expect a really good environment. Nationally televised ESPN game at their place. The team that's playing really, really well. I think they came out in the CFP playoffs, so they got a lot on the line, and we're excited about this one opportunity, and that's got all of our focus.
Are you kind of tired at this point of facing mobile, dual threat quarterbacks? It seems like week after week after week, you got multiple things to kind of check.
Yeah, I mean, and the Morris kid is a quarterback's quarterback. I really say it that way. There's a tremendous amount of different skill sets within this league. And he can escape, he can scramble, but he is a rhythm target passer that's super accurate. So it's a new challenge every week. That's why we're in the ACC. I mean, you're going to have that challenge, and you better have one. Otherwise, you're going to be in trouble, right? So it's just another challenge. But he's been the engine of the car. He's created a lot of success. The biggest thing I would say about their team in general, to win the way they have in so many different fashions, it says a lot about the team and their resiliency. So you got to go knock them out, and you got to go beat them. Like, they just haven't
put them away.
Yeah, they haven't beat themselves, and they found ways even when they're down. So, they're one throw away in the NC State game, about being undefeated. So you got to find ways. You got to go earn it, and that's the message to the guys.
Have you realized at this point, back-to-back weeks, you've broken streaks, right? You broke SMU's streak of not losing a conference game. Then you unfortunately broke FSU's streak of not winning. So you've got a chance to break another streak here Saturday. What's the implication and the importance of that?
I think, we don't talk much about that, Les. I just think our guys are focused on a great opportunity and getting back to being ourselves. We're a better team than we played, and I think that's just kind of where our focus is at right now. But the challenge, right? You're aware of it. The best part is, like, we talk about starting fast in the game, and they've been down like 4 times at the half and found a way to win, right? So our resiliency to go punch for punch and be a prize fighter in this game is going to have to be there. Last week I think was the first time we were down at the half.
Yeah.
Right. So. And we didn't come out and respond the way that we need to respond. So there's so many learned lessons from that one game that we need to apply to Virginia to be a better football team. Okay, last week was probably the only time we didn't say coming after the game we grew and got better, right? So we got to change that narrative, and that's what really good teams do at the end of the season.
Please correct me if I'm wrong. I know you will, but it didn't show up statistically. But I thought Damon looked incredible. He looked sharp in his cuts, decisive, fast. It looked like he was physically maybe at his best since the opener. Am I wrong?
No, I think you're exactly right. And it was actually, to be honest with you, Les, it shocked me. I looked back at the stats and I saw what they were, and I was actually surprised.
We had those 2 big ones.
I think you better the 2 big ones that came back. I didn't love their grass surface. I thought it was very slick, but he was sharp.
Guys are falling everywhere.
I think we're really seeing, what he does really well. And those perimeter plays, really lead to his strength. So there's some times that we just got to stay with it more. Like I said, I keep saying every week, but rhythm touches I think is important. Getting him the 20 carry game, I think is going to lead to a lot of our success. Right. So we're working towards that, and we're going to need that going forward.
Not to go back to that game, but how surprising was it, and what needs to be fixed in terms of Micah Mays on blocking on the outside, because he'd been really good at that through the season.
Yeah.
I think he got flagged twice, I believe, and they were both huge.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's it's a hand placement thing. I think the kid slipped on the one, but
Gotcha.
but when you have your hands here and the ref's over on the sideline and he sees a guy go down, right, you're going to get flagged every time. So it's a technique issue. Getting your hands inside, working the position block, long arming and being strong with the way you want to seal them, and going out there and finishing. So it's not always pretty at the receiver position. You got to want to get in there, and I agree with you. For the most part, we've been pretty good in that area out of Mike and Mays.
I'm assuming when they go down like that, they're assuming that you've pushed them down.
Correct.
Is that
Pulled
what
them
it is?
down. Yeah, pulled them down.
At the quarterback position, do you have a starter named? Is there any movement there? Is there anything you've seen through practice this week?
I thought we've been sharp, and I think the guys have been urgent because they know it's competitive. I told them last week, Robbie's going to start the game. We're going to make decisions week to week, series to series. Don't be surprised if we see a blend of them at some point. Working towards getting, I think offenses need starting quarterbacks, but those guys both have to play at a certain level where we feel comfortable in doing that. So, this week we'll take it 1 week at a time, one series at a time, maybe sometimes one play and one moment situation at a time. So then they've done a good job competing against each other, encouraging each other, and we're going to need that going forward. But we have to have a good day on offense to beat a really good Virginia team.
Hey, you said after the game that you have not been pleased with the offensive execution
the standard
performance the last couple of weeks, so I didn't know if that was telling that, there might be some changes coming.
Well, yeah, just like we talked about on the Monday press conference, execution is knowing what to do. Okay, details is the hand placement, on a split zone, making sure we're staying tight to the tackle. Those are details of assignment, and then catastrophics come from multiple execution errors, right? And we've had too many of those situations. Okay, I'll always say that's on me. We got to be better, and I won't accept any excuse. I don't accept a noise excuse. I don't accept a tired excuse. I like excuses and just weaken the mission. Right, so our guys need to be better. They need to understand the standard of practice, because your practice habits get out on the damn field, right? And we showed a couple of those situations of last week in practice. I was doing the same things, right? So our guys in a mature competitive environment got to be better on a daily basis so we can execute on Saturdays, right? I've said it before, fast physical mistakes between the whistles are going to happen. Okay? It's a complicated game played at warp speed, but our controllables on that side of the ball, our standard needs to be better, and the guys know that, right? So this isn't anything new to them, and they're working tirelessly to go do that this week.
I know you're surely not going to be around patting yourself on the back after a 42-7 loss, but how interesting and neat is it that the expectations already for Wake Forest football has flipped so much that kind of a result is considered like, whoa, what happened? Because you've overachieved according to others' expectations, not according to your expectations, to that point in the season.
I'll credit the players. These guys are the ones that changed it, right? Because you can't just motivate and scheme your way into success, right? You got to have a player's buy-in and mindset, and they got to go out there and do it. Fortunately, I don't play in the games, right? Thank God. We'd be terrible, okay? I was a D3 wide receiver, and I looked like a fullback, okay? So they get the credit, but they also have to push through the adversity like this. Okay? I think coaches, our job is to be super consistent, super accountable, keep believing in them, but also when things happen, we got to make some changes too, right? So the guys know that. Reps change. And you might not like it in the moment, but you got to keep pushing, and we got to find the best version of this team constantly every week. And, we'll have some injuries this week. That'll come out tomorrow night. So we got to find a way to make sure that we are being our best at 7 p.m. on Saturday, because Virginia's going to be right and ready to go.
Is it fair to say this is the largest block of adversity your team has faced this season?
I would say it's the realest, maybe, if that's the right term. I think
that probably was a reckoning after the opener. Probably,
right? That was adversity. Blowing the second half NC State was adversity. The Georgia Tech was out of control adversity. Football and life is adversity, right? So that's what I kind of equate to these guys to understand. There will be a day in life when you're 42 years old with 3 kids like I do, and you just have a terrible day, right? You got to be able to respond to it, right? So these guys got to understand adversity is all around you. It's not going away. That's why this game is the best in the world, right? Because it's not easy, right? And there's so many outside factors going on. You have to have laser-like focus, okay? What your mom thinks does not matter. What your agent thinks does not matter, right? But that's hard, right? That's the voices that we hear constantly. So as a high performer, competitor, what are you listening to, right? Where your mind goes, your energy flows, right? So we talk a lot about like controlling your environment and where's your focus at, especially towards the end, right? So, the classic example is like, what are you playing for? We got a lot to play for, right? We're proving ourselves right. We got 2 rivalry football games. We get to play a nationally ranked team on the East. Like, there's so many opportunity, right, to extend our season. So it's like, man, the list of what you're playing for, not alone your personal pride and your performance and your purpose, man, there's just so much out there. So, yeah, no, we're out of the ACC race, right? But at the end of the day, man, our guys just every day, I'm proud of the way they showed up, especially this week.
And you're seeing really good buy-in.
Yeah, hell yeah, we are. And but that's also the thing with the coaches. Sometimes, your scout team guys, your second teamers, your third teamers, you got to evaluate and say who's still in the foxhole, right? Because guys fall out of it quicker today, right, than they used to.
They're not going to play. They start moving on.
Yeah, so like, and I mean it like mind. It's odd. Like, we're 2 months away from winter training. When you think about it sometimes, but you got to be here in this moment, right? So if you miss today, right, tomorrow isn't going to be as good as it needs to be, right? So that's just the message to the guys, and but we have to live that out too as coaches,
That's
right?
A great phrase.
And it's an amazing opportunity for this football program to continue to grow. And I've always told Nick Anderson and Demond and Falili and Dev, like, you guys are cornerstone, foundational building blocks of a program that's just starting. So take amazing pride in that, and we get an opportunity to accelerate that building process here over these last 4 games.
Great stuff. I love that. If you miss today, tomorrow won't be what you want it to be.
Yeah.
If I had to ask about injuries, I would probably ask about Chris Barnes. Is there anything you can give us on anybody, or do we just have to wait for the report to come out?
Well, we'll wait for the report to come out, but Chris has had 2 great days of practice.
All right.
And I feel really great about where he's at and what he's doing. And for the most part, I thought we came out pretty clean from the game.
I knew he took a hard hit late in the game.
Yeah, partly because we only played, some of the guys 3 quarters, but so I think we're for the most part pretty good and should be ready to go.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you guys. Go Deeks.